Hello and welcome to the OSMcast. We are finally back again for the 7th billion time for a Who Knew Final Fantasy XIV FanFest special. Yay! And that's us, but we also have a whole room of folks from our free company and guests. Please speak now if you're going to be talking on the podcast.
Oh.
Barry.
Hi.
I'm Anna. I don't want to be on the podcast, but I am.
Some people call her Space Anna.
Shut up. I'm hungry.
Alright, so Kira, go. Kira, talk some.
Kira talks some.
Awesome. Cass, talk some.
Ayo.
Barry, say Barry.
Barry.
Awesome. Letho, say Letho.
Letho.
Alright, there we go.
Canadian.
So tonight is Thursday night, believe it or not, and we thought it'd be fun before we get into what actually is happening to speculate on what things it might be unveiled tomorrow. Like, for example, are we getting an expansion? Probably very likely announced. But where do we think the expansion's gonna be?
Oh, I think we're going to take back Alameda.
Yep.
See.
So we're not gonna go to the moon!
Garland Space Station!
Whoa. This game has a lot of non-sequesters when you're on that main storyline.
Yeah, you may end up finding that they'll do two things. You may have two different storylines that they kind of intertwine eventually. So we may have Moon and Alameda.
Yeah, the Alameda.
Maybe we moon Alameda.
Or maybe we go underwater.
I mean, that's possible. They before have talked about other elements.
Oh, you know what's possible? It could be a whole throwback to Final Fantasy IV, which eventually would take us up to the moon. But for this patch, what would be very fitting is a dark world, like an underground world.
That could also be it. I mean, I think memory serves. They talked about a wind themed, a sea theme, and an earth theme. So an underworld that could definitely be a possibility.
Yeah, that would fit with an earth theme.
And they might go because Alamigo is on the eastern coast of Eorzea, which means that there is all this ocean that they could technically make use of.
Also, apparently there's also speculation that one of the primals will be Eden from Final Fantasy VIII.
Ooh, right. Eden?
Yeah.
What about Pain? Oh, Pain is from Pain is from 10. 10 2. 10.
And
10?
she was a character, not a summon.
No, I know which one you're talking about. The one that's like actually the mother of the sort of bad guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
Penny. Yeah, she was pretty cool.
That guy is in Jet.
Don't forget 3 Mega Sisters. They're always. I'm waiting for them to pop out someday.
There's all sorts of various elemental creatures and primals they could pull from. So chances are, if there is an expansion, wherever we go, they'll probably jump the level cap to 70, which would then introduce a few new abilities for everyone's rotations, but they've also gone back and said, we feel we might have made things too complicated in the Heavensward world, and so we may end up going back to something simpler, yet also raising the level cap would also make things more complicated again. Where do you think we'll end up going?
Well, there are some things you could do where if you raise the level cap, now you have abilities that just flat out trump old abilities. There's no reason to use the old version of the ability. That's something a lot of MMOs do, which Final Fantasy XIV is kind of unique, that you end up needing all of your skills.
Except Try Disaster.
Well, Try Disaster still works. Now it's Try Bind. That's not useless.
Like, every class seems to have, like, maybe one ability that they don't really use all that much, but overall, you use the vast majority of all of your abilities, unlike other MMOs where there eventually becomes no point to use this ability once you get this ability.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Like
Scathe
White
is
Mage,
still
I
worth
don't use
it.
that sleep ability at all.
Well, the sleep ability is very useful in PvP.
It used to be in certain fights, but
Like, the only bard ability I don't use is the one where I shoot and jump back.
I also don't use that water ability.
Oh, the
Not
repelling
that one.
shot?
Yeah, repelling shot.
Everyone hates people that use that.
Oh, the water
The
one?
White Mage
Oh, Fluid
one
Aura?
and Garuda.
Yeah, fluid aura.
It's very useful when you're solo leveling,
Damn it, Garuda.
but when you're
personally I think they should just change
As a
the
melee,
options
I
as
really,
they
really,
were.
really hate that move because I don't like chasing down my targets.
Well, the first
Everyone
time
hates it.
I went into a dungeon as a white mage, I used fluid aura, and the tank looked at me and said, "Take that, your hotbar. Don't ever use it again." And I was like, "Yeah, yes, sir."
So my next question then would be, what do you want to see out of your main class? As a summoner, I'm looking for an upgrade to Garuda where it does nothing but knock things back all the time.
I want to move. I want to be able to move again. I want to be able to move and shoot.
let's
Yeah,
see.
same thing for machinists. I want to be able to move and shoot.
It'd be nice if summoners actually had more on the summoning side of things.
Yeah, it would.
And Dark Knights, honestly, I was just saying that I think that they should just roll in the original like power slash combo
Mm-hmm.
into your standard one, just kind of remove some extra buttons that you'll never use.
Let's see. I think first I have to decide what my main class is, whether it's white mage or black mage.
You're a white black mage.
But I think the
She's a
answer's
gray
the
mage.
same for both
That's
of
a
them.
bit-
I think I just want more raw power.
And for people to quit making you leave your ley lines.
Yes! Get out of my goddamn ley lines. Don't put your things
I
down.
like playing hopscotch in your lines.
I'm gonna play in your ley lines.
That's fine. I don't mind you hanging out in my ley lines, but when you lay the fire down in my ley lines, that's a problem because then I have to move.
I'm gonna put salted earth in your ley lines.
No, why? Why?
I'll join
Dotan,
Ley
ley
lines.
lines.
You know where the Black Mage lives, you know where the Black Mage dies.
Alright, Barry, what could be improved with Paladin? Or Scholar?
Paladin? Give us more cross-class skills like that Warrior gets.
That's fair.
So he wants Paladin overpower is actually what...
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Paladin
What he wants.
Overpower would be freaking great. No, an AoE ability that is not a 30-second cooldown that I can use on other creatures.
Yeah, warrior's pretty much perfect. Like, we can just keep on keeping on.
Paladins
fucker.
might need something iconic about them because it will.
They're healing tank.
So they
Well,
do
well,
have-
Clemency was actually an interesting thing they introduced in Heaven's Ward,
Yeah.
which made them more of the healing tank. So we might see something more along those lines where they start ramping up more and more of their healing abilities. What do ninjas want?
To cut, to kill, to stab everything.
More ways to stab things.
To be able to tank.
Two hotbar
Yes,
mood.
yes. I want to
Two
be a
hotbar. Two fucking hotbar mudras.
Oh, so we're going
Like-
back to 11 now with the
I do
basic
not
tanks?
macro.
I don't either.
You can't macro your mudras.
Actually, someone in our free company, I think it was Mantis, he said he macroed his ninjutsus. I'm like, no, because every time you do that,
work.
it can mess up your rotation, and it slows you down.
It does slow you down. It slows you down a lot.
I could not get that to work.
But Kira, what do you want to see out of a Dark Knight?
I don't know. I'm good with how it is.
Honestly, Dark Knights are pretty good right now.
They're not perfect like warriors, but they're pretty good.
Oh.
And Astro just got our buff, so.
Yeah, we got our nocturnal second vote.
Alright, we don't have to have a huge...
I think maybe Dark Knights could use more emergency buttons.
Yeah.
But then they'd be
shit,
closer
kid.
to Paladin.
Well, no, the other shit. The other shit kid is your vampire combo plus Living Death.
Still, it's
Maybe a way to actually fully heal ourselves in a no shit moment.
yeah. I mean, Paladins kind of have the absolute awful one. Hongang is also pretty good, but Dark Knight's kind of got the short end of the stick with there, so probably just change up on that route.
Alright, and I think I don't want to do a too long of a portion of this since we have the actual FanFest to cover, but there is going to be a Fan Festival Battle Challenge that apparently is going to be alliance-based, so this could be the first ever alliance-based primal fight if they ever introduce this into the main game. what do you want to see this fight be?
The Three Sisters! Like Barry
Three
said.
Alliance, that would be...
That'd be cool.
That would make
Like
sense.
the alliances have to swap sisters.
Maybe.
Imagine the tank swaps.
Oh my god.
It'd be so beautiful.
If they can do it.
Oh, but the failing could be beautiful too.
But also the question would be,
We
are
need
they
to
going to
argue.
treat this like 3 normal full parties? So we have, 2 tanks, 2 healers, rest DPS.
Or one tank.
Or 1 tank, 2 healers, rest DPS.
Oh no, if it's going to be an alliance, they're probably only going to have us need 1 tank.
I don't think so. They'll
Like-
probably come up with side mechanics, like extra ads or just extra mechanics that the off tank has to do.
Yeah, but in general, the raids, they've gone more towards the 1 tank per party.
Yeah, I could see just one. I could see just
But I
3
mean, I
tanks
guess if you
total.
want to add complexity to it, then the 2 tanks, 2 healers, 4 DPS would be
Yeah.
cool.
Just depends on the mechanics.
Yeah, like you said, with the extra ads, the off tank has to.
Something I want to see in this game, and I've talked about it among this group, that I think it's time that I need to voice this opinion. I want to see a fight where tanking the floor is an actual thing.
Yeah.
Wait, face.
Yeah, like
No, wait.
the
Like the
Dragoon's
floor
actual
is like-
job, taking the floor.
Yeah. Like, and I see 2 ways you could do it. 1, the floor is a targetable object within the room, and every now and then it does, like, a cast timer. At the end of its cast timer, the floor will rise up eventually, crushing and wiping the raid against the ceiling.
So it's kind of like the book demon.
Yeah, kind of like that. And the only way to stop it, the only way to get it out of,
Dragoon.
yeah, the only way to get it out of its cast timer would be to have a Dragoon jump on it.
Like
You know, I don't think our FC Dragon will appreciate that.
Like there's a little hole somewhere where if you fall through, you die.
Well,
He wasn't meant to
Feed
appreciate
the floor.
Well, you're not feeding the floor. It's just like an interrupt that you have to do periodically. You just have to jump on the floor to keep it
Personally,
down.
I'd find it funnier if the Dragoon actually just failed.
You see, but the other idea for
The cast
taking
bar
the
fills
floor,
up. Fail. You have a Dragoon in your party, you immediately fail.
Great.
the other idea for how to take the floor is the fight requires 1 sacrifice, and as long as somebody is dead, the fight can
You must give
continue.
it your firstborn Dragoon.
No, Elzins go first.
your firstborn Elzin Dragoon.
So if somebody has to tank, somebody has to take the floor.
Oh, before we're done, new race. Do you think we're getting any new races?
Miera.
I hope so.
Yeah, I want friends.
There's gonna be so many, like,
So many
Friends.
friends.
I mean, there were a lot of
You said-
auras, so.
I
Well,
wouldn't
they
be
when
surprised.
what was it when they're first doing Heavens Ward? They were talking about the auras and the Vera, and they had like plans drawn up for them completely.
My thought on the reason why they would is just because the amount of people that would pay to race change, it's like extra bonus cash for them.
Like, why not give the fans something they obviously love?
Plus, they just did the remaster of 12, so that's like another
Like
driving force.
Samurai, which is possibly a new jobs that we're
Oh, I
getting.
would love that.
I think it's Magic Tech related, personally.
Magic Tech.
I want to say maybe Mystic Knight.
They were
Oh,
they
that'd
were
be cool with Spellblade.
Well, they did in the spoiler alert, in the last patch, a character does pull a magical weapon and uses it to fight in melee. So that's a possibility.
And
So I would love to see Mystic Knight.
I just want red mage. I've got white. I've
Well,
got black. I need red mage.
I mean that's an easy possibility on top of having
I
Spellblade.
need red mage. I need it.
I want mathematician from Tactics.
that was really well failed.
I've expressed this opinion before.
Yes.
I kind of think Dancer would be a lot of fun.
Dancer would
That
be
one has been
a lot
a
of fun.
popular theory,
Oh yeah, that'd
actually.
be fun, especially with 12. That would tie into 12.
Dancer could be an awesome crafting class.
What?
Yeah.
I would
They
assume it'd
craft.
be more of a support buffing class.
I mean, I can see it like a bard class, probably.
Well, I think it's a case of it's a performance class where
Which, speaking of which, we talk about adding
Probably
new
similar
classes in terms of like combat classes, but what do you think are the possibility of adding new crafting and gathering classes?
low.
A farmer class.
I can see a farmer class.
There's your gatherer.
Yeah.
Like, I could see maybe additional
Sometimes
gathering,
raising animals.
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh,
Because there's only
Beastmaster.
3 or 4. There's only 3 of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think crafting is pretty fully.
Yeah, it's
And then if
Form.
you
They
can
need to make
raise,
culinarian
a
better,
herd
though.
of nutkins. And lesser pendants.
That's just an opinion.
I would like to
Raise the
see
minions.
one class that is just really weird and out there. Like, you take the idea of a time mage, and instead we got the astrologian, which takes a lot of the same
Geomancy,
ideas of messing with futures or
Geomancer is a
past.
good class.
But instead of it being
One
like an
man
actual
mage,
mechanic, it is something in the base of the lore, which they then reinterpret as tarot cards, and
Or
built a whole
add
system.
jobs to the jobs stones.
Specialty
Like-
jobs like,
like-
fire
like-
mage or ice mage.
Well, like with monk, you get to have a branch that you go to, like a priest or something.
So you went more like talent trees.
Okay, so
Yeah.
pugilists
Like,
can either go priest or monk.
Yeah, so like it's like perfect example of Destiny. You have your main class, like a warlock, and then you have 2 subclasses that you can choose from, depending on what
but they would still be
attributes you
like
want to
job
focus on.
stones, so you can just.
but you can do that with them.
Well, my thought, kind of on that note, is something that I would like to see in Final Fantasy XIV. We do already have the system where there is your class and then your job. I would like to see needing to level.
A job to get another job.
Yeah, needing to level up and get different combinations to produce like higher end, like take the red mage that I want so badly. Let's say that for red mage you have to get not only get thaumaturge to 15, you actually have to get it. You have to get thaumaturge all the way up to 60, and you have to get white mage all the way up to 60, and then let's just say
I would almost say just get the white
Paladin
mage and
at
black
15.
mage jobs.
Well,
It'd be
similar
a
to
little easier.
the titles
That
originally,
would-
except in the classes.
yeah,
That would
instead.
then be
So,
a
like the
gated
Archmage.
job.
mm-hmm.
So some sort of like prestige class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just getting it to 30 and getting your job stones would be a little easier. 60 is a little extreme.
Well,
Or
that's
50 even.
Or
50, yeah.
savage.
Well, the only way I could see that
Kinda
working
like
is if they
tactics.
actually do introduce the jump potion.
Yeah.
In order for you to do that, otherwise you're going to have a gated class that nobody's going to touch because some people aren't wanting that at the time.
I know the class I really want. I want Fencer.
That's paladin.
No, like a Fencer class, like from Tactics Advanced.
Oh.
Well, like single-handed sword user. Kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Well,
that could go into goes into like red mage.
Well, that's what I thought with Magitech. This is basing off of what's the guy's name again? That dude.
Like Rias or whatever his name is,
Yeah,
that you
that guy.
see in like a Etherical Chemical Research Facility.
Yeah, that guy. He uses a one-handed sword, and he basically has interesting combination of sword, magic, and also mechanical gunshots.
So
Also,
gunblade?
like a squall class.
I was going to say, a gunblade class?
That's
Not that I want it, but it's just it seems.
But
like
it's got to be more emo-y than Dark Knight.
Yeah,
Emo-y.
Hey, you eventually learn that the best way to become a Dark Knight is to embrace the power of love.
it's true. You got to dye your armor.
All you need is
Yeah.
love.
That was
True,
Captain-
love is all you need.
Captain
Actually-
Pepto-Bismol.
Did you guys actually hear about how there was this big
What's the
rumor
stuff I
spread
read?
that if you dye your armor black, you'll do more damage, and people actually thought that was real?
Really?
Yep.
I
I like
read
how
that.
these people think that if you drill a hole in your iPhone 7, the headphone jack will work.
Yeah, that happened too.
Well, I am going to drill the hole into our iPhone 7 jack on this portion.
Wait, there is one prediction that I've heard that I would like to see. It's an addition. It's not a class. It's an addition to the gold saucer.
Putting headphone jacks on the next phone.
Yes. An addition to the gold saucer would be blitzball.
Blitzball would be awesome.
That would be cool.
And then we drill holes in our link.
And then we draw holes
Yeah.
in our link pearls.
If
And
the next expansion is water focused,
yeah,
that would make
blitzball could be a
sense.
total
That would make sense.
Mhm.
All right, folks, thank you for talking with us. And next time, we'll be back from Friday. at FanFest, and we'll know if all our dreams came true. And we are back with our intrepid free company members. It is Sunday. We have finished the 2016 Las Vegas Final Fantasy XIV Fan Festival. It was fun. It was cool.
And it was a festival.
All right, so general thoughts of the convention.
It was cool.
It was nice to meet people off of our server because you see them running by in game, and then you finally can put an actual face.
So then they run by you in person, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's like I can't click on you.
Me name on them, yeah.
It was interesting going to an actual industry event, not a fan-run event. Some things worked out very much in their favor. Some things did not.
Merchandise line savage.
Merch line 1.0 Survivor.
As I understand, this FanFest is literally double the size in all respects than the previous year. They had double the space, probably double the attendance, and I think they just did not understand how merch worked. And how much when you add so many more people who want merch, they're going to wait for it and they're going to try and get it, and they were not ready for demand.
But to be fair, once I got a plan, they were efficient.
Yeah.
They were, which we'll go over that in day two.
That check-in line to get your badge was like wicked efficient.
Wicked efficient, yeah. Like the registration was stupid fast. And I think maybe the first FanFest people got like their names on badges and stuff, but this time they did not, because they were like, if we just hand out badges, it'll be faster. Also, this is a 2-day event. There's only one badge. So you don't have to worry about trying to find which badge you're going to give them. You're just giving them a badge and a goodie bag. So that was pretty smart on their part. Like, it was the registration, once it kicked into gear fast, and it was very smooth.
It's a very good goodie bag, too.
It was a very good goodie bag. We got like a Allegan orb. Oh yeah, we can hear all about it.
The bag itself is a drawstring bag, like backpack.
Was it OBS or OBR?
I thought it was download.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I thought it was the.
It looks like a node.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it looks like a
control
node
from Az's Law.
Yeah.
stress ball.
What else we got? This is great Foley work.
Got the giant inflatable little
The wind-up
Yeah.
cursor
pointing
finger.
cursor.
Yeah, you got the program guide.
A blow-up wind-up cursor minion.
Oh, don't forget the Allegan memory stick.
A 16 gigabyte Allegan Tombstone flash stick.
They also gave us stickers of all the job classes based off of the Palace of the Dead sprite work they did.
And the dragon was face down on the bottom.
Yep. We've also taken multiple pictures of the event throughout the weekend. I'm going to compile them all and upload them into a gallery for this post. Yeah,
Yes.
well, that was unexpected too.
That was a really cool, like, social activity to get people to, interact with each other. Because I know Yoshi P has said multiple times, like, he wants to see the players work together. So to do that live at FanFest, that was pretty
The
cool.
whole Manderville thing.
Yeah, like in the bag you got a set of 5 Triple Triad cards, and they were all the same character. And there were 4 other designs for those cards spread out throughout the congoers. And so you had to find people that had ones that you needed and would trade them one of the ones you had for the ones you needed.
That was a fun enough idea. I'm thinking of swiping it for our convention. Like,
Well-
that would be...
Comic-Con also did that.
Comic-Con did that already?
Yeah, Comic-Con already did that. It
Oh.
was the Alice in Wonderland year.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that
They had
at
the whole
all.
card train thing, and they also had the pedometers.
I
People
remember
were
the
sitting there
numbers.
shaking them.
Yeah, where people were just cheating like mad. But what I thought was actually way neater was once you had your program guide, And after the keynote, which we'll get into once we start talking about what happened during the days, they would give you this quest book. This Hildebrand-themed quest book where they're like, oh, hey, someone causing problems at the FanFest. You need to find out who. And the rewards were even more triple triad cards.
You ended up with a set of 9.
And you had to do things like, talk to your friends and put together a full party of 8 people and what they like best about the gold saucer. And it was just really fun just passing our books around and seeing what everyone, wanted out of things. What did you want more out of the gold saucer, Kira?
A couple more mini games.
So you want a couple more mini games?
Blitzball.
Blitzball.
Some form of blitzball. I imagine the blitzball thing would be more like just a normal dodgeball thing, though, with a net.
I would see them actually implementing the water sphere to do it. If they're gonna do blitzball, I'm pretty sure they're gonna do it the correct way.
I could totally see them.
Everybody hold your breath and jump in.
Spoiler alert, something with Alamigo having something equivalent of blitzball suddenly being incorporated into the gold saucer. So, Cass, what did you want?
Blitzball.
Blitzball? Barry.
I said blitzball and chocobo breeding, but forgot chocobo breeding was already in place. Better chocobo breeding.
Yeah, there you go.
Like with Pokemon. Probably just one Pokemon breeding still.
Final Fantasy VII chocobo breeding.
Yes!
That sounds about right.
And what did Doug want?
I actually wanted a mix between, like, on some people's things I wrote one thing, on other people's I wrote the other. I wanted a mix of snowboarding and the opera house. Like,
so a rhythm game?
Well, no, like, the opera house. Like something where, like, you can write lyrics and then have, like, a MIDI voice come out and sing it.
Oh, is that kind of like in the
Like in Tomodachi Life?
Yeah, like
Tomodachi
Tomodachi Life.
Satan.
Well, going off of that opera idea, like, it'd be cool if they can implement theater rhythm in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have Koji rap it for you. Just
Yes, Cody Fox rapping all of them.
alternatively, just snowboarding, which,
That is fun.
it was so fun in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it in any other Final Fantasy
Installment,
since,
yeah.
and I don't know why.
Man, they really dropped the ball on that one, us being in Ishgard, in all the snow.
Right?
Give it time.
Similarly, I just want more chocobo racing courses.
Yeah.
There are plenty of zones in Heavensward that are ripe for the racing. And it'd be really awesome if they were to do that. Square Enix, please. But yeah, you did that, and then there were all these mini games they wanted you to partake in.
There was
You had,
And
spear throwing
Yeah,
thing.
here's the talent.
You had 3 like foam Nerf spears.
stop
You had
the Illuminati.
Yeah, you had to throw the Nerf darts into Nidhogg's eye.
yeah.
You had Stop the Illuminati, where you shot at goblins. You had the Where the Wind Blows gate, like the actual gate from Gold Saucer, and they had
An LED floor that you pretty much had to run around and make sure that when you stopped, you weren't in the...
red zone, you were
It
in
was
green.
like 4 square panels, and one of the 4 panels would turn red. If you were on it, you were out.
And then you had the Mandragora toss, where you had Mandragora printed on like
Basketballs.
little. It was like basketball, but they also lit with volleyballs, like little
Yeah.
volleyballs. And the backdrop for the goal was a Goo Mouth.
And so they were pretty much like little carnival games.
Oh, that's how you got your stamps to get more cards with the Mandrapal book.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because one of the things was they wanted you to do was get stamps. And you got stamps by doing events throughout the convention, whether it be doing a trial roulette or their special battle roulette or special battle
Challenge.
with challenge, which is Proto Ultima, as an alliance raid instead of just an 8-man, or buying
PvP.
stuff from merch or doing
PvP.
PvP.
Yeah.
Anything that you did besides just going to a panel or something, you got stamps out of it that you can then use towards filling out your book to get more triple triad cards. And that was just a really neat idea to get people to mill about, get together, do things together, as this is, they really like to put the multiplayer in the massively multiplayer online game.
And to sort of make up for like all the stuff you can do, they had the layout of the room. It was all in one big giant room, kind of like Campicon. But you had the main stage, and then you had hanging giant monitors throughout the room. So no matter what you were doing, you could hear or see what was going on.
God, I loved the audio-visual setup of this convention.
Mm-hmm.
You walk in the first time and it's playing the music from Idleshire.
You felt like you were in the game.
Yeah. All of a sudden it's just like you couldn't help but go, ooh.
And you realize that as long as you're sitting around and you don't mind looking at the screen, there is not a bad seat in the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they spread everything else nice, and they were very high-quality projectors, you know, and screens. And it's like, man, all right, this is an industry event. They can afford this stuff. You know, they also had tons of, all their monitors were really nice ViewSonics. In fact, the ViewSonics were so nice, and because ViewSonic, they wanted to tote them back, they were actually selling them for a deeply discounted cost.
99.
You know, for like they're $150, $160.
$100, yeah, and it only cost $100.
You know, and it was the monitors that they were using at the event, but they're, you know, very barely used because they're only been used for 2 days, and you get a really good discounted price. You just got to get it home, and price was so good that we ended up getting 2 of them ourselves. You know, both Kira and Barry bought one because, you know, monitors are useful and they were good.
It's a long time since I got a new monitor, and getting home's gonna be the tough part.
I just wrapped it in all my clothes in my suitcase. Hopefully it'll make it home.
I assume, Barry, you at least, because you won't have as many snack foods as we did prepare for the trip.
I'm gonna try and take it on to carry on. Like, I trust it less in my luggage than I do even checking it by plane side, where they know what it is and they know I'm gonna be bitchy about it.
And they also had a big old sign-up area where everyone could sign up, you know, in the media wall, where you could all sign in your names or whatever you wanted to. And
They had to put in servers,
Yeah, the worlds and the data centers and the servers.
And then some person decided to put up a little picture of Hoshafont. Poor guy.
That was
with
great.
LED candles, and that memorial grew throughout the weekend.
The best thing that someone left there was the packet of hot chocolate.
There were so many things that on that memorial. It was great. It was just like people brought like airplane cookies, chocolate, like candy bars,
Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Didn't you put something on it?
Yeah, I left. I left a stack of apricots.
But in Square just left it there. Like the team knew what was going on. They were all about it.
Some of them kind of want to take it back to the offices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had their giant fat chocobo that you could, you know, get pictures of and pretend that you're riding it. They had an awesome like art exhibit of fan art from fans that had made throughout Eorzea.
There was a great set of crochet mandragoras.
Yes.
So it was really nice. And I mean, this convention was not huge. I mean, it was a few thousand people at least, but you know, it was
like it could have been huge if they hadn't put a ticket cap on it.
But I think they needed to. I mean, clearly, I mean, they filled that room. Like they filled that space very well.
Time.
Hopefully, it's going to be double the size again next year.
Well, I don't know if they'll do it next year. I mean, I think
2 years from now,
possibly 2 years.
You know, I think it seems like they are doing it when they're ready to announce a new expansion.
Yeah.
That's when they start kicking into FanFest, which makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, it makes the FanFest worth it because they have something really big to be able to share it like during the keynote.
Yeah, which was one of the first things they did. Was the first panel was the keynote, and first thing we saw was a new teaser
for Stormblood.
I think it was really interesting and almost a little bit weird to have a convention so laser focused on something I'm very much interested in. I'm not used to that level of I never want to leave because they're constantly bombarding me with something I want to see or do, and everything is right, you know, in my interest. Because there's only like 5 or 6 panels, but all the panels were things that you'd want to do.
Yeah, and all normally you're walking around like, I can miss that panel. I can miss that panel.
In both days, I never left the room. Like, I mean, if I left the room to go get food, but I never actually came back to just do anything else. Like, I wanted to be in that room.
The only times where we really had downtimes when we were saving our seats for something that was about to happen. Now, this also was interesting that it was built like a marathon, where you get up early in the morning and then the con runs hot until 8, and then it stops. And then suddenly you have, 8 p.m. beyond to just do whatever, which, I mean, we're in Las Vegas. It's not that hard to find things to do. So, but it is a very different experience than what you would traditionally see at like an anime con or comic con or whatever, where it's a all day, all night sort of thing. This is a very, you're in it to win it, then you're done. Come back tomorrow. Okay, we did it again. Awesome. We're done. That's it. And that was interesting to me. All right. Well, I guess at that point, then we're going to take a small break, and we're going to be back with day 1 of FanFest. We'll be right back. And we're back. The Friday. We get in there. They let us all in. And before anything else gets to happen is Yoshida's keynote. And he went straight for the jugular and announced the brand new 4.0 expansion, Stormblood. We go on to Alamigo.
And everybody's going to be a monk.
Everybody's going to be, well, maybe.
Me.
I mean, I'm still summoning for life. So yeah, Stormblood. We know that's the new area we're going to. It's been something they've talked about for a long time in 14. It's always been the previous Alamigo was the first Eorzean nation to get hit hard by the Garleans. They totally took over. It's now been like 20 years. And we're going to try to do, save them, but do they want to be saved? Now, it's apparently one of the big things they really want to get around with the storyline this time is they've been under occupation for 20 years. There's now a whole new generation of people who only know Garlean rule. What do they want out of life? Do they want to be freed? Is the resistance a good idea? Probably yes, but they do a pretty good job in this game of painting things in shades of gray here and there.
And the big hot topic of the teaser was, is the girl in red Eater or not?
Maybe she's Eater. Is she a hidden reveal of the dancer class?
Subclasses.
Like, are we know there are going to be new jobs, and there was an S on there. There's more than one. And the lady running around, she started off dancing. Does that mean we're getting dancer as a class? They didn't actually announce which ones they were. Mm-hmm. It turned out Yoshida was wearing a Marvel Scarlet Witch t-shirt.
He heavily implied Red Mage, but did not come out and say Red Mage.
He, quote-unquote, casually walked off to the side, took his coat off, and said,
it's hot.
"Oh, it's hot." And
yeah.
It was like showing off his shirt, Scarlet Witch, and he walked off, came back on with a different shirt.
So, we'll see what happens. Of course, as they point out, there are 2 more FanFests, and I'm sure the Tokyo one, we're going to get more informations. There are, new primals, new areas, new aether currents for flying around in, or to get to fly around in.
And the new area, or the new map, he said, or the new expansion isn't going to be any smaller than Heavensward. It's going to be bigger.
Yeah. Well, they said it's going to be at the very least.
At least the size of Heavensward.
He said no smaller.
No
least,
smaller,
so.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'll either be the same size or bigger. So, who knows? And the Heavensward, for me, was plenty big.
Yeah.
Like, I am still enjoying running around those areas, even now. So, I'm fine with what we got. There is going to be, then they all said other things, like they're doing a complete revamp of our battle systems. because he knows that, especially with getting a bunch of new abilities and
a new level cap.
Yes, new level cap.
new level, we're on a level 70, which means a bunch of new abilities, and they're also now reevaluating, the more quote-unquote useless ones, and they might be trying to sort of revamp the whole cross-class skill system. And
It'll be based on your role instead of classes.
so it could be real interesting, which, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, because he's right. If you play a warrior, or any sort of tank class, you've got to get the cross-class skill at Provoke.
Yeah, you need it. You absolutely need it, or else you are ineffective.
Yeah, you don't do what I did and get it at level 58.
Same with any casters, you need Swift Cast.
Yeah, you have to have Swift Cast, even though Thaumaturge is, unless you're Doug, it's the worst thing ever.
No, it's great.
And then
It's not
was-
bad.
Bad.
Just for Basil.
Anywho, another fun thing they announced.
Also, all new primals for this
Yeah.
set.
Which means, okay, so we've had ponies and birds.
What are we getting?
What are we getting next?
Trains.
Choo-choo.
No, he implied
Train.
Doom Train would have to be after.
They have
He did say that.
He
did
said
say-
Doom Train would be like 5.0.
That would be in the Garlean Empire.
Oh yeah,
Or
he also
Doom Train.
mentioned. He also kind of casually mentioned that 5.0 was probably going to go to
Garland.
Like
Yeah,
they
Garland.
know what they said they know where they want to go, and who would be the big bad. But beyond that, there's nothing. But that means that they are thinking ahead enough that we get 5.
They also announced the forbidden land of Eureka. So, I guess we're going to a Sci-Fi Channel town.
It's a new datum.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a new diadem.
It's a new DNA. That's what it actually is. And
But they also said that this area, I guess they've learned from Diadem, because not a lot of people do that right now. They implied that the next relic, you would probably have to go there to get it. Like
That's where you
will go to work on it.
but one of the biggest things, and for some people this was the biggest announcement, possibly bigger than the expansion, is of course the increase of inventory slots.
Yes.
Oh
For
my
all
God.
the
People
characters.
lost their minds.
They didn't say how much, but we're getting more.
I
He
think
said He said exceptionally, but it won't come till after the expansion.
they're expanding it just a little bit, and then after that, they're going to start rolling it out a little bit more and more patches.
It's a
afterwards.
pretty big thing.
They're very with as much as humanly possible. So, as much as they can get done, in addition to all the other work they have to do, and then they can start working on.
And not kill the system.
Yeah, we don't want to kill the dead.
Which was paired with more or less the announcement of the increased specs when Stormblood hits. Like the base Windows, spec for you be able to run stuff is going to be raised.
No more Pentium.
Yeah, and no more PS3s.
And no more PS3s.
PS3s will be gone.
As
But they're
soon as
doing-
you download that Stormblood patch on your PS3 will no longer run Final Fantasy 14.
But it also does sound like they're more or less going, if you've got on PS3 and you buy a PS4, you're already set.
Like, you don't have to buy the game.
It's
Yeah,
it's
they-
doing the upgrade
They
thing
will
again.
come
When the PS4 first came out.
Yeah, and it's free. It is. You just get your PS4. I bet you just log in and
There's something on the website that's like transfer
Yeah.
and moves it up.
so awesome for them. I'm worried a little bit about my Surface Pro 2, how it's going to handle the new stuff, because it's already chugging on Heavensward stuff, but we'll see. My main computer should be fine. But, I mean, unless you try to stay like WoW and use the same graphics for 15 years,
And then update them.
and then update them, but even then not update them too much. Like, you've got to keep,
the aesthetic.
you got to keep up the aesthetic, you got to keep up things, and if you want to do like weirder things and harder things, you just need more processing power, and I'm sure that's also partially why that 4.0 is where we're going to get those increased inventory slots, is because they can make sure they can push those computers and PS4s harder than they have previously.
They basically said if you're on a 32-bit system, good luck.
And they said, please upgrade to 64.
Please. They were begging.
Yeah.
Just upgrade. Just upgrade.
Just do it. Just do it.
I think one of my favorite things was a lot of, I know this will be later, but a lot of questions that UGP got for things. He was like, PS5
Yeah.
Yeah.
PS5.
became the answer.
It's like PC or PS5.
But yeah, that was the majority of the keynote. And yeah, Stormblood, we're getting it. We're going to Alamigo, and the new focused class is Monk, aka every time they do an expansion, the main character guy that they use as the Warrior of Light in all the preview stuff and trailers and whatnot, he always changes class. Like I think he started off as a bard.
He started off as bard.
Bard,
Yes.
warrior, dragoon, and now monk.
So it's going to be exciting, and it was at this point that we turned around, saw the merch line wrapping around the room 2 or 3 times, and we were like, okay, so what are these Hildebrand things?
There were people in that line for 6+ hours that didn't get anything.
God, that was such a. They just did not understand. They did not understand one bit what they had done.
They brought a lot of good merch, but they did not realize how much of demand for it they were going to have.
Yeah, they had no clue. No clue whatsoever.
They even had these, like initially they were passing out these little order sheets that you filled out and you're supposed to just hand to the person and they went and got everything. But that really did not help at all.
And so we were off doing mini games and stuff to get our triple triad cards. And while this was going on, they had their panel about the battle systems with Mr. Ozma himself, in that he made Ozma. So therefore, and Ozma has gone over really well. I mean, as boss fights go, it might be the most well-received boss fight in a long time. But his actual name is Masaki Nakagawa. And it's really interesting. He used to be an e-commerce systems developer, like of all things, and he actually got the job by following a forum post in 14 forums. Like he saw that Yoshida was like, oh, hey, you should totally, we're taking applications, and he sent an application in and he got the job, and he's done Ozma, I think he did Leviathan, he did Sophia, and so...
Very, very good battles that he's contributed to.
And where, he's one of his big things is that, the storyline has to take, the sort of the aesthetics, what the boss will be all about, but he's also going to make sure that the bosses are exciting, but, for the actual battle, but he also wants to make sure that, once you play the fight for about 60 seconds or so, you at least understand a lot of the main things you want to look out for. Like, so with Leviathan, you realize pretty fast, oh, hey, when Leviathan decides to go underwater, come back up, I better get on the right side, or else I'm getting knocked off. Mm-hmm. Some things, well, you might not understand the entirety of the fight for every little detail, but at least the basics of where it's going to go.
And once it happens once, you're like, oh, okay.
Then you also mentioned just how much more complicated Ozma was going to begin with, where they were going to do parties of 4, and like 4 parties of 4 where there'll be a bunch of healers, like each group would be into 4, and each group would have a healer. And then they realized that if one group failed out of the 4 parties, everything was going to fail. And they're like, well, never mind. Let's tone it down. Let's figure it out. But apparently, they've still been working on different shape changes. And apparently in a version of an extreme or savage version of Ozma is something they're thinking about, which is kind of interesting that a raid boss might get his own thing just because for how well that boss fight was received.
Well, and plenty of people have been asking about, the lore of Ozma. What is Ozma? And I found it's really interesting to explain it to people. Because Ozma is kind of a mystery, in terms of Final Fantasy history, Ozma comes from Final Fantasy IX, where Ozma was a primal. Well, not a primal. They were called something different in Final Fantasy IX. In Final Fantasy IX, they were called, in Final Fantasy IX, they were summons, but it was basically a summon that was a god of a people who had been forgotten, and so the deity had just, like, lost its shape and become that sphere. And it actually goes back even further. They named it that because of the OSMa space, the OSMa space probe that was sent up into the space and got lost, and that space probe itself was named after Princess Ozma from The Wizard of Oz, and that name is just totally made up. That's just a fairy princess name. And that's the entire origin of Ozma, and it's so interesting how there's something about it that does strike a nerve with people that feels really ancient and old and mysterious, but the history itself isn't actually all that complex.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a really neat thing, and I think this might be the first time they brought him in to talk at a FanFest type thing, so I think they were really proud to have this guy, especially after the success of Ozma, to be like, hey, let's trot him out. This is the guy, y'all. You should talk to him. He's pretty cool. And he was.
so nervous. It was so cute.
Yeah.
But we all really appreciated all the hard work that he's done.
Yeah.
For Square Enix.
Like, I think there was some sort of special attack they were trying to do for the Sophia fight, but instead they realized that actually, so we're doing another, fight where you have to be on the right side of stuff. But in this way, it was more of scale instead of just Leviathans crashing into stuff. And also, apparently, it's Leviathans actually, visually, it's actually done by a trick. The platform never moves. It's actually all the background stuff that moves and gives you the illusion that you're going up and down, and that there's just an invisible thread just pulling your characters across.
Oh, that's neat.
And so they're just tricking you into thinking that you're actually moving up and down when you're really not. And apparently that took a lot of work to make happen.
Less resources, probably.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing, is that he'll apparently come with these really off-the-wall ideas, and then he'll go, hey, let's do this. And the battle team's like, what? What? No? Wait, you're still saying yes? Okay. After that was the, please look forward to it panel of Naoki Yoshida, and I believe Koji Fox was also there to do to provide both. No, I'm not sure. I think Koji's Fox panel that's the next day. That's the next day.
Yeah, it was the next day.
But this one was pretty good.
Koji was there as translator.
Yeah.
And the whole idea was that they had taken some questions online, and they had people to say something there, but mostly it was things that we got to fill out onto little cards. Like, every person who was a purchaser of a set of tickets got to submit a question.
Oh my god, so many Hyperions.
Yeah, there's a lot of people from Hyperion.
You would think it would all be Belmong, but no.
They
There
was
got some-
3 Balmung, and then the rest were Hyperion.
They got some representation, so, but they were just pulling them out of the bag, and they were answering them whatever they were.
We got so many new faces from Yoshi.
Some
A
things.
lot of facial expressions from Yoshi.
Some things like a time attack for dungeons. And it turns out that's something they do want to do, but they also have to make sure that things don't get abused and cheated with. So
They were
they're
talking
working on
about
it.
people using cheat devices or something to make their characters move faster than it's physically possible. What they could do is, like with older Minecrafts, if you glitched or you're cheating to move faster than is physically possible in the game, it would just kick you.
Mhm.
So you would never be on the leaderboard, which was their big thing. Was like, oh, these people are going to cheat. They're going to get through here faster than physically possible. And we have to go in and delete them because we don't want them on boards at all.
Right.
So I guess they need to figure out what is physically possible in the game speed-wise. And if your character moves over this, a certain amount, then it's like, nope, you're kicked out of this fate or whatever it's going to be.
People asked for a Fat Dodo mount. He was like, okay, we got cool mounts. We've got...
You
cute
Americans
mounts.
want everything fat, don't you?
Yeah. Somebody asked if we could get Sophia's costume, and then they paused. He seemed to understand it at first when he said, when it was just can we get, and then they added on wearable by men. And that was when he suddenly couldn't understand it, and he couldn't.
He couldn't process.
He looked at the audience one time as he assured them, "Well, we're working on modeling the bunny suit for
The
men."
ass is modeled.
Only the ass of the
is
bunny
done.
suit.
And then, but it was very obvious to him that he just didn't understand why that was something that we wanted.
Americans are weird.
Yes, we are.
They also did ask, will Sleipnir be able to fly? The answer was yes.
Eventually.
We're working on it. About accuracy for white mages and other healers.
Part of the revamped battle system.
That's part of the battle system. Will there be open world PvP?
Fuck you.
That
was pretty much his answer.
He said...
Well, his answer eventually
You get
was
old
basically like WoW, where there's PvP servers.
That they might implement it. They want to hear more feedback. I don't know. I'm one of the people that I don't like PvP.
Yeah,
No,
PvP servers
I-
suck. Like, there's no griefers in...
Like, I don't mind the sort of capture the flag style PvP that's in that's in the front lines. Like, that's kind of fun, but I just detest, like, I just detest PvP normally. Like, I'm never going to do any of the one-on-one things. Like, people can try me to a battle and I'll just ignore it. I'll
Find me,
decline. No, I hate PvP. I'm PvE for life, and I don't want to play in a world with open world.
That's why we
PvE.
would have PvP
Yeah, we would have
servers.
dedicated servers.
Yeah.
So we can pull all the assholes in one place.
But speaking of those,
So that they grief each other.
the next question was, can healers use cleric stance for duels? No.
He was adamant about that. He was like, no!
And then he looked to the audience and said, "Do you healers really want to do that much damage?"
And everybody
they
went,
all cheered
yes.
yes. And the crowd cheered.
I want to throw rocks harder at people.
They also asked about increasing the housing allotments.
Possible.
They are working on it.
That is one
Yeah.
thing we didn't neglect to mention with Stormblood is there will be a new residential ward.
Oh yeah, there is a new residential ward.
But we don't know where.
That's right.
He-
Please
yeah,
look
he-
forward to it.
Yeah, he was like,
Why
he's-
it was cold.
well, no, he said
No.
it could be Ishgard, it could be Alamigo. Like
Well,
he
everybody
sort of asked where we would want
and
it.
everybody went Ishgard, and he was like, "It's a little cold, isn't it?"
Yeah.
I still think Ildishire is a really,
Yeah.
is a really good one. Yeah. Which they talked about how hard the cruise chaser part of one of the new Alexander fights, because they designed it as like an actual QTE, a super easy QTE, and apparently
The
Yes,
entire
we all died.
dev team couldn't
Yeah,
do
apparently
it.
he was shocked that not many people have died getting off of it. I didn't think you could die getting off
No,
of
he said
it.
originally it had a different button every time you pushed it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
No. Well, originally it was you had to hit the X button or you had to hit the space bar on your keyboard. But apparently people were missing, like their developers were missing all the time or couldn't find the button. So they just changed it to you hit a movement key, or if you're on a controller, you hit whatever button.
I can hit a movement key. I don't have to click it with the keyboard.
Yeah, see, I just
You mean
clicked
the
the
mouse?
button.
Yeah, I clicked the
That shows
button
up.
with the mouse.
But he did.
It's as long as you press any button.
Well, see, well,
That is
and,
a
well,
text.
no, it's not any button because at one point they said, "Do you want to be any button even when like people are typing?" And he's like, "Yeah, probably not." So
it's any button but text input.
They asked, is there going to be the equivalent of Kirin for the new primal birds?
And he said,
The
yes.
answer is yep.
And there's going to be a different way to get.
like it's ready, it's ready to go. I think he's at 3.5 when we get it.
One of the questions that kept getting asked was about the Alexander Savage gear. Why isn't it's not dyeable? And their big thing was like, well, we made 2 sets of gear this time. We didn't have time to make anything dyeable, but I guess we'll bring it back and see if they can do stuff.
That's a lot of resources just to make a piece of gear be able to dye.
And that's what they said is that they use all their resources in focusing on making it different, and in that it couldn't be dyeable. Whereas the other ones they use their resources to make it dyeable.
Yeah.
They also talked about, can we get more levels of dyeing customization, which was one of the times where I think Yoshi P wanted to walk off the stage.
Well, no.
Rather than
Once he
answer.
finally started understanding, he was genuinely interested in it. But
Yeah,
the general idea came down to, instead of you die, you only had you choose to dye this piece of gear and the shirt changes color. That's it. I think the idea that he finally explained was you could choose which area is going to dye. Like, instead of the shirt, it'd be all the trim. But it's like you can do one or the other. You can't do both.
Yeah, once he finally understood, he was like, "Oh, yeah, I could probably do that."
Let's see one of the good ones. Hairstyles. One of the new hairstyles you can unlock by playing Palace of the Dead. They're not sure if they're going to keep. They'll probably do that occasionally, but not. It's not going to be a new. New way.
They're going to continue examining that stuff case by case. Like, so if there's a hairstyle where it makes sense for it to be obtainable through a dungeon, then that will be. But what he said mostly is that he doesn't want to make it so that
the casuals can't get it.
Yeah, like you can't be stylish with your hair.
And long and curly hair.
Unless you're a hardcore player, that's something he doesn't want.
Like, really longer hair than what we have is
they
really hard to.
Issues.
Yeah, it's really hard to code and to keep it from clipping everything.
People ask about cameos from other Final Fantasy games. Sprite works hard to translate, but 15's coming out. Just saying, guys, 15's coming out.
It's the same engine, so.
Server merges, no, but they are looking into ways to do more cross-server things like parties and raids and stuff to try and.
They're gonna have a crossover party finder.
Yeah, crossover party finder. I think he said something about you could add friends from other servers.
Yeah, you could actually talk to people from other servers.
Which makes a lot of sense because the server setup is already there in place. And I could see that.
It'd be nice.
Moogles, will they deliver to apartments? Probably soon. Let's see. Summoner Eggies, will they get any kind of buffs? If they do, it's going to be in Stormblood.
Right now, they're actually going to give us, he said in, I think, 3.5, that you'll be able to change the color of your carbuncles.
Well, yeah, what it is that they're going to do a Summoner Eggy glamour system where you can make your various summon creatures like Garuda, Ifrit, or Titan, and they're going to let you, change them to other things visually, but the stats will remain the same, the attacks will remain the same.
Yeah.
And they're going to kick it off with carbuncles. But you'll be able to change the color of your carbuncles, which at this point, that's all I really want. I like Garuda and Titan and Ifrit all, but ever since, I first tried Final Fantasy XI way back in the day and only played it for like a month because no one played with me. It's a game that you cannot play by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
It is you can do it now, but at the time when only like 1 or 2 expansions were out, you couldn't do it. But even still, I loved having my glowy little carbuncle buddy. In 14, my favorite parts was I got a glowy carbuncle buddy, and they keep showing me other Arcanists that have different glowy carbuncle buddies, and I don't get to have any of them.
You only get to have blue and gold.
Screw that, they're bringing it to me, fine. Patch 3.5, I'll believe it when I see it. Will we get to fight Doom Train? Maybe.
5.0.
5.0 possibly. A chance on 14 on the new Nintendo console.
Maybe.
And they were like, freaking Nintendo fans, man. Like, they haven't announced...
Rolled his eyes at the word Nintendo.
Nintendo hasn't announced crap. They can't announce crap, but if Nintendo's not announced crap, who knows? Also, if they're wanting more and more powerful systems, I doubt the NX will be powerful enough to be that, but whatever.
The NX is rumored to be a little more powerful than the PS4.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it at this point. The NX is a golden butterfly. One day we'll see it, one day we won't, whatever. More monster furniture? Like a marble bed?
And it's like, why do you want more marble stuff?
There's enough marble stuff, isn't there? We only have so much design team housing time, and
we're busy.
It's like, God, that's ugly. Why?
Well, once we saw the live letter, then we kind of understood why, because he showed new housing.
Yeah.
It's like, destroy your Chocobo house and use this new housing.
One of my favorite Balmont questions, will we get exercise emotes such as squats and push-ups? Possibly. That's doable.
In the meantime, do those in real life.
He
Well,
straight
you're
up
waiting
told
on-
you,
yeah.
get off your ass and exercise.
People asked if we'll ever get a Godbert trial, and he was like, no.
You
You
can't beat God.
He said, one, Galbert never loses. If you manage to beat Galbert, then you gotta fight his wife.
Savage mode.
I mean, he was like, you'd be screwed.
Let's see. Housing markets. Will you ever be able to regain money from houses if you destroy it intentionally?
He said no.
No.
Too much time and effort. Housing team busy.
No, not too much time and effort. Housing team busy. He actively doesn't want that. He also was never going to make it so that you could
Sell your house.
you could do like airship crafting from the apartments, because that's something that he specifically made for free companies.
And then he finally, I think one of the last questions was about open world level syncing. Well, in that you sync to fates.
And that blew his mind.
He liked.
No, you don't sync
He
to
liked
fate.
it. No.
sync
You
to your
sync-
party
No,
members.
Yes.
right now you
Right.
sync to fates.
But
But what
they've
they're
done is
asking
syncing-
for to
yes.
the party.
Yeah, he liked that
Well,
idea.
a member.
Yeah, he
Um,
wrote that down and was like, "Well, he made Koji write it down, and we're bringing that back with us."
Well, it makes a lot of sense because that's actually one of the big things in the new World of Warcraft's expansion, Legion, is that like the 5 or 6 zones. I think there's the opening zone, then there's a final zone. I think there's like 5 zones in the middle, and you can tackle each of those 5 zones in any order that you want, and everything is synced. So that if you go in there at level, say, 82 or 92 or whatever it was for World of Warcraft, everything was synced to that level. And as you raised up in level, so would everything else in response. And so I think they got that idea from things like Fates and stuff in 14, and they applied it on a much larger scale. And so now people are wondering if 14 could ever follow suit. And I think that's one of those things where I could see, Yoshi P going, okay, this is clearly a modern evolution of MMOs in general. We need to make sure that we stay on top of that.
That's not really a modern thing. And I can't remember what MMO it is because I've played so many. There was an MMO where you could choose what level to sink down to. So if you're running with a friend who just started, your friend could still get the regular drops and his regular amount of XP instead of if you're in a party with a high level character, you don't get XP.
I know that it was Guild Wars 2 did something similar with the
Well, I
syncing
didn't play
stuff.
Guild Wars, I know that. It may have been Pristine Tale. But that kind of system has existed, and that would be awesome to have in 14.
We'll see. After that was the costume contest. There were a lot of really good costumes.
Oh my god, that Dragoon.
The Dragoon that actually did actual scale armor for the actual scale part.
The helmet was accurate, and the visor went down, the eyes glowed.
She said the scale mail alone took her 500 hours.
That makes sense. I've almost made a complete scale mail shirt.
So, yeah, it was really, really well done. It looked absolutely stunning. But there were a lot of really good.
I mean, my favorite was Melinda Chan's bard because, yeah, she was there was like 3 bards up there actually for the finals.
There was I like the Warrior Flight bard, like the one we see in the cutscenes.
Yeah, that's who she was. That's
Oh.
Melinda.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they finally ended the night with a piano concert featuring Susan Calloway.
Oh my gosh, I almost cried during
I had
answers.
goosebumps.
And
The
they would
feels.
like the best part was they would show like especially for answers they showed the cutscene. Like I mean everybody knows what cutscene we're talking about. Like they showed that cutscene, and then like on all the music they would show video from the game like as they
Where
were
that
doing
song
it.
was from, yeah.
Yeah.
And
And then they also announced later that the new album coming out, what was it?
Duality.
Duality would have a piano arrangement and the
Right.
band, the Primals arrangements. So you get 2 versions of most all the songs on this new album.
Oh man, it made me want the sheet music for the
Oh yeah.
piano.
God,
so.
yes.
I think possibly one of the MVP winners for this concert, though, was Dana. I can't remember his last name. What we joked around calling the contract piano guy. Because the first 2 times he played, I looked over at Anna and was like, this guy got this music like yesterday. Because he was definitely, like, he wasn't really losing his place that often, but it was almost like he was almost sight reading it and playing it live. It still sounded really good. Like, he did a really good job. But it was clear this was, they were like, okay, you're doing this now. And he's like, what? Oh, okay. Just give it to me. I'll do what I can. And the dude did a bang-up job. Bang-up job. But the MVP was Soken. The man came out in his white Asian outfit.
Mask.
With
Yep.
the mask and his... Well, first the lights dim, and we could tell they were doing something with the frickin' piano, which was this beautiful Steinway's and Son grand piano.
Party.
And they're doing something to it. The next thing we know, we see, Soken as a white Asian, like he was in the previous FanFest Primals concert. He comes out with this tiny little piano that literally was Kawhi brand piano. Sets
It
it
was
down.
a toy piano. Like, the sound
Like-
of it was a toy piano.
And which song was that he played?
It was the library. Google
Yeah,
Library.
the Google Library piano. And it was really hard to tell because he was playing it, A, really well, and B, very comedically.
Mm.
Like, he was just hamming it up on stage.
I thought it was the Amadpour theme.
Last
No,
City of
it-
Andor Keep.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
No. It was.
He did play that during his set, though.
Oh yeah, no. But the first thing he did with that tiny piano was the library.
Oh, you're right. You're right. And then it's the next piece
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
was
Lost City of
Amadpour, where and that's the one where he.
Yeah.
We started hearing a bass sound.
And then they finally start cutting to it, and we realize, the man just realized that when you have this pianic perfection of a piano, this Steinway's, and what do you really need to really just kick that shit into high gear? You need a cardboard box.
Taped to the floor.
With
Taped
a
to the floor
microphone
with
shoved
a
in.
microphone shoved in it.
He made a kick drum.
And
out
he
of
made
a cardboard box.
he made a kick drum out of a cardboard box for his own percussion.
And it was amazing.
It
And-
works.
Because there is the book slamming sound in the Google Library
Yeah.
music,
Yeah.
so that's
And he was just doing it, and every time he did, he would just look at the crowd and be like, ah! He was almost like a Muppet. Like,
he was a little
when
bit.
he was
He was
playing
animal. Yeah.
He was animal.
Well, he was certainly animated.
Yes.
it. Like, and it was just, it was both fun to listen to, fun to watch, and it really, it added something different to the whole thing, especially when you had, Dana, country piano guy, in his very, nice, tux. And, and Susan
Calloway in her
Calloway
nice
just,
black dress.
And then he comes out there and dressed up as an Asian.
Asian, and just kicks a drum made out of a box and a microphone.
I'm pretty sure that's very formal Asian wear.
Yeah, it was just something, and of course they finish it off with, with Dragon Song and Thoradin, and it was
The Thornton, though, we were like, he had
That
to
was-
practice that.
yeah, he was wailing on those keys for Thoradin. I was like, man, that he was okay. This is where his focus was, and God, I'm sorry, more appropriate. 12 bless him for it. But that was
Day one.
day one, and it was a good day. All right, I'm going to take another break. Come back with day two. Welcome back to this recorded live, then edited podcast in the beautiful, scenic Perry Hotel
In
and Casino in Las Vegas. Oh, we are doing FanFest
You can
Final
taste
Fantasy
the arrogance.
14 Day 2 with Koji Fox. This was the time when finally everyone got to discover just how amazing my hero really is.
Hey, I just learned he was a person, and he's pretty awesome. He lives kind of a like magical life.
He does. He lives one of the most magical of lives.
Okay, Day 2 did not start with Koji Fox. Day 2 started with getting up as early for the merch line tickets.
That's true.
I don't remember that part.
You were asleep.
You and Doug over there were like synchronized snoring.
Okay, so the solution for the merch line, because people waited 7+ hours, if they were still in line when they closed, they got red tickets. That means they went in first. People were there the day before to get in line to get time tickets the next day. We got there at 6:15 that morning, still pretty far back in line. But again, once they organized something, it went fast. So they were supposed to open at 10, I believe. It's when they were announcing they were going to open to give out tickets. 7:45, the line is going down the hallway and wrap back up to the beginning of the line. So they were like, all right, they opened the doors. Within 10 minutes, we were down, we had our ticket, went to go get breakfast.
So it worked out. Once they realized what they needed to do, they did it. I'll cover this now. Later on, when we actually went in line with our ticket, it was as quick as one could be.
Way more efficient.
It was way more efficient than what they had done originally. So good job on them. But now, Koji Fox, or Michael Christopher Koji Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is Koji's real name?
Nice as a
Yeah,
dog
Michael
name.
Christopher.
But his nickname is Koji Fox. And that's what everyone calls him. And he's one of the main, he's a localization lead for Final Fantasy XIV. And the man is...
Man behind the lore.
He's a treasure. He is the reason why we get all the puns we do in the game. He
Wanted
really...
and unwanted.
And he was one of the main guys that was behind the awesome lore book that I don't own yet, but I'm going to.
Because it sold out.
Well, and I don't think they were really... I think they were really not expecting that.
No. Someone told him on stage that it sold out, and he was shocked.
Like, I think part of the reason for this panel was because...
Probably to encourage.
It was an ad for the lore book.
Which had already sold out.
Which had already sold out.
Sold out during the panel. Like, it was
It sold out before the panel.
The last few got sold then.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
it
know
was...
some people that bought one right then,
Well,
but it was...
several pre-made slides were go buy the lore book, but it had already sold out as it had started.
Right. So when someone asked about Garuda, he said, it's in the lore book, and we're like...
We can't get the lore book.
And so they had become very empathetic. Look, okay, it's going to be on sale Monday, I promise.
It's going to be on sale Monday.
It's going to be on sale Monday. You can buy it. It's not... This was not a one-time run, but please go buy it. But he apparently worked a whole lot. I mean, it's got 304 pages. It is 2.8 pounds.
Yeah.
Hardcover. He was like, you can fight the enemies off in the apocalypse.
No barcode, no Square Enix logo.
Yeah, it looks like a authentic book.
Tome. Rather.
Yeah, it was really nice. The man is after my own heart. The fonts chosen were how they best looked, especially with the letter Q.
That Q was on point.
That Q was frickin' Jupiter. Like, it was the Q that he was referring to was just the Final Fantasy XIV font. It was the font below that they were really working on hard. But whatever, I noticed it. Whatever. I like fonts.
At least he was on font about it.
Most of the content was brand new. And then after the lore stuff, he started talking about things that, he had sort of changed around, like things like before he was in the game, there were 6 levels of hell in the world of
6 hells.
And he thought that was stupid. It was clearly to be 7 hells. And so he talked to the actual lore lead and convinced them that there needed to be 7. And then suddenly he had to, change things around. One of the original important folks and the Pantheon was turned into 2 because he wanted.
He just wanted to say balls.
Yeah, and so he was like he really enjoyed all the text he got to do for the 3.4 Soul Surrender patch. He actually really went into the whole meaning of the Equilibrium song that plays when you fight Sophia. He talked about how he figured out how to do the rap music for Alexander, and it was really, really good stuff. You found out that apparently the lore team is really big fans of Undertale. He mentioned that. He also mentioned how it's the year of the rooster, or he kept going cock. And
Year of the cock!
It's my year again.
he also talked about how why
Cock, Sydney.
Don't marry any horses.
why Stormblood is different from the Japanese translation to Crimson Liberator. And it made a whole lot of sense. And he just went through everything where it was like, look, we went through all these single names. A lot of them were already copyright. We tried to add the word red to everything, but we discovered red is just edited out when you do copyright. It's what all the other words are important, not red. And how they worked on this and that. And eventually they came up with Stormblood
As one word.
That was really interesting to me. I didn't realize how much they had to do to come up with a title like that. In the long run, it makes sense. It totally made sense, but it was really fascinating.
Also how long names are fine for patches, but for expansions, it has to be short. And it was interesting to know that they had, more or less the equivalent of style guides for what can be a title for this or that. So that was really neat. And it was the one panel that really, it almost felt like an actual fan panel, only it was an official panel because it was full of weird and funny slides that you normally wouldn't see out of an actual, corporate, I'm going to put on a panel sort of thing. Where suddenly, he was going to make a reference to Judge Dredd, but they couldn't use an image of Judge Dredd.
So you just put a censor
So you put a censor bar over it.
And explained that Judge Dredd was behind it.
Yeah. Or when they started doing the whole Year of the Rooster Cock thing, and suddenly they're like, well, I thought if I showed you the picture of the chicken, it'd be better than me showing. Then you had a picture of the chicken with a censor bar over it.
And he did explain, while it would be called, Year of the Chicken, he said you can get away with a lot in the actual quest line.
Yeah.
So look for the word cock at some point.
Oh, yeah, for the
This will be for the
headgear stuff that you can buy in the
Heavens.
shop.
Yeah, this will be for the Heavenstern event at in beginning of the new year.
Yeah, something about there was already an item with a similar name to
There's
Rooster or something.
The Red Rooster's dead.
Yeah, he didn't want people to think that it was with that set. So he wanted to call it the Red Cock.
But then he also had a whole bunch of other things, he took a bunch of questions from online, where he then went to the actual Oda-san, who was the actual lore lead, and they brought back answers that he translated. He noticed things he thought the Warrior Darknesses were just alternate versions of the Warriors of Light, and it turns out, no, they're from an alternate dimension. They actually have different classes. It is a different world. It is a parallel world, so it's grown differently.
He explained that's why they sound the Black Mage sounded different. That's why their names are different, because the names that they have are actually names they picked when they got to this world. I thought that was kind of cool, and why their jobs are different and all that.
Yeah, the Black Mage is
Mages.
a magus.
The bards are rangers. Still got to beat the crap out of her though, and I was happy about that.
They actually went over what are some of the more literature things that Oda-san uses to draw inspiration of, and he also mentioned one of the big things was there's a Japanese book about monsters and legends. He was a really big fan of actually the Ender's Game series, and especially how it worked with the Nath.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I remember Barry was like, yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of Song on Ice and Fire for all the Game of Thrones fans. Someone asked a really good question, why were there no dragoons during the Nidhogg fight? Which the answer was, they jumped very high.
And you don't, the camera can't go that high, so you don't see that they're actually just jumping and spearing at the top of Nidhogg.
Mm-hmm.
I did how much of how it remains unexplored, and they were like, well, most of it was found for the Alligans, but the Alligans aren't around anymore, so who knows? Why hasn't been someone to take the place of one of the guys from the Syndicate, thanks to the events of between 2.0 and 3.0, and they're like, well, things have been going on. That spot hasn't been filled yet. They explained how Aura's horns work as far as hearing goes. Once again, he said, all this is explained in the lore book.
That you can't buy.
Until Monday. Hey, by the time this podcast comes out, it will have been up for sale. So, it possibly sold out already. You know, there were a bunch of other questions. Gamerscape actually did a really good set of articles about the interview. I will make sure we link it in the show notes. That way people can check out all the other answers and stuff. Because we got to move on. We got to talk about the dueling circle with the letter.
With the live letter.
With the live letter for the producer live. Which Bayone, one of their main community reps, was like, I really wish you had talked to me about that, because man, is that hell on Twitter. That's true. Between the live letter was the PvP tournament, which was interesting to see. I didn't know summoners were so good. Nice to know they are still the best class. And
we actually got to cheer on a friend of ours.
Yes, yeah, Riel.
And then one of the hosts for the PvP tournament was Joe Never Fails, who started as just a heckler at, I think, the first FanFest, and he's gained so much popularity that now, look where he's at. He's hosting the PvP tournament for FanFest. So
right.
That's pretty cool.
Happen.
Yep.
But I think the winning team was Hello First Time.
Hello Second Time.
Well, third time, fourth time. Yeah, it was. Like, I think the team was still Hello First Time, but the announcer was like, "No, we're not going to get away with that." And I hear that I think they stomped the development team at the very end. But yes, then there was the live letter, where the concept of the whole duel, like someone asked why the dueling ring
was
square, and that made Yoshida very happy that he got to mess with Koji Fox about.
Yeah.
But then they also showed off some of the new 3.45 stuff, like a lot of the Palace of the Dead stuff. Apparently including a Tactics Ogre Boss. There is one of the levels of Hell, more or less represented by some of the later dungeons. They've got a ranking page, and that the content's supposed to be like super duper hard.
And there's one floor. There's a bench and a tree. If you get there, you have to sit on the bench and take a screenshot.
I'm gonna laugh if it's Keanu Reeves that sits next to you on the
bench. That's what a lot of people were saying. But like even Yoshi P, all of them, they were like, you need to do this when you get if you get there, not when, but if you get there. Oh, we're screwed.
Was there any other live letter things that people were like? The dueling stars were really reminded me, but
Paisa House. We're getting the All Saints Wake starts the 19th. The theme this year is vampire, and we only get a chess piece, but it's really that way they want
it to be able to have us to personalize it,
right? So our glamour
gear that's already in the game.
Our glamour queen will be the one to
I'll figure something out.
But they also showed us a new flying mount. We're getting a chair, a very movable library chair.
Which kind of reminded me of the chair that I think they used for like the owl and
the
Gubu library hard.
They also showed for the Starlight Festival at Christmas, one of the official art that was released last year was an outfit, but it wasn't implemented in the game. This year it will be implemented in the game. It's like the Santa dress looking.
But yeah, they also mentioned the Paisia house and all the various sizes, and someone asked if they can ever be able to start saving like more or less gear sets for their house. It was more or less covered at, look, to make housing work, you only get one save slot, and we're so busy trying to make this new residential area, we don't have time to focus on trying to make that happen, but we'll look into it. And then we finished off the night, and of course the most glorious fashion, with the Primals.
That was the best concert ever.
It started on time.
It did.
It started on time. That doesn't happen at cons.
It doesn't happen at concerts.
Like, it was, they straight up they started sending everything out. They did their sound tests, all within their 90 minutes, and they started at 7 o'clock on the dot. They started walking on stage. that was a thing to be believed. And this was the time where Barry truly understood the magic life of Koji Fox.
Because he comes out and sings the Ravana theme.
Like, the dude's got his pedal voice modulation boxes, so he can do any band of octave of song he needs to.
On his voice.
Effect,
It was an amazing concert.
Yeah.
And again, they would show like video from the games, like especially with the primals and any dungeons, they would show pretty much the cutscene you see.
The intro.
when it starts. And the song that got the biggest cheer, I think may have been Leviathan. Well, no, Sephiroth did, but Leviathan got a huge one.
Yeah, well, I think Leviathan was the song where everyone stood up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where suddenly everyone's like, we gotta run around and dance.
The only other song that really got a huge reaction, especially the one that's being still talked about, is during the Titan song.
Fuck you, Titan!
Soken just shouts that, and that's what I say every time I fight Titan.
Like, if you could still...
They pulled one out. They pulled one out, like, on us, too. Like, he asked for, like, they played a couple of songs. And then they asked us which one they wanted us to play again. You know, like asking us which encore we wanted.
And everyone wanted either Shiva or Brute Justice, and he was
Which
like,
were two songs they had not played.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, they did not play
And so,
many songs, and so everybody started insisting for these two songs that were not played.
And then Soken's like, what you already heard.
he even pulled out the set list.
no Shiva. No Shiva. But then, and so they played Sephiroth. He finally got Sephiroth out of this.
Yeah.
And then they surprised us by playing Metal from
Alexander.
the first stage of Alexander.
And it was good. And
It
it was
was
so
And Koji
good.
came out there and started rapping it.
All right. We're going to take another break, and we'll come back with final thoughts. All right, folks. Final thoughts. Kevin, how was FanFest?
I don't know, Basil. How was FanFest?
How was it, Kevin? It's final thoughts. I need your final thoughts on FanFest.
I think it was amazing. And
What was your favorite part?
Random wild Yoshi P's wandering the convention. That's at least what I got from the pictures.
All right, fine, Kevin. We know you weren't there at the FanFest. How's been the latest patch?
I don't know. I haven't been playing.
God, Kevin, what's your problem? Why are you such a bad 14 player, Kevin?
I know, right?
This is why we can't be a Final Fantasy 14 podcast, Kevin. This is why.
I'm on sabbatical from 14. I don't know.
All right, Kevin. Any questions for us who do play Final Fantasy 14? Do you have any questions about FanFest?
No. Not as special. Would you go again if there's another one in a couple of years? Would you
Yes,
go
and we're
again?
taking you so we don't have this problem again. It's not so awkward anymore.
You had fun. It was cool.
It was cool.
It was really
good.
cool.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, it was really cool. FanFest did have a few major problems, kind of proving the point that Square Enix doesn't. I don't know if it's Square Enix or if it's just the Final Fantasy 14 doesn't quite realize how big they actually are.
Right.
But they definitely don't. And so a lot of these problems were centered around just not being prepared for the size of crowd that they got.
That merch.
I would hope that next time it's somewhere in driving range, because I don't really want to fly. But honestly, if it's falling about the same time of year, might have to skip AWA to go to FanFest.
To be
Yeah.
fair, we were talking about it. If we went to Chicago, we could drive to Chicago.
We could drive to Chicago. We could drive to Atlanta. We could probably drive to Florida.
Man, I really hope it's not in It's not in Vegas again next time. because I got injured from Vegas's very, very dry air.
Yeah, it was so dry.
I didn't realize what a swamp dweller I am, but I am evidently a swamp dweller.
Well, I don't know if we're swamp dwellers. We're probably swamp dwellers.
I am used to the
We're
air
not
being
from Louisiana
a lot more
or Florida.
Yeah, that we are.
Like,
But it is definitely more humid here than Osage, Nevada, and I didn't even go. I know that much. But
like, I can't understate like how nice it was getting back into the warm, wet embrace of the humid Alabama air.
Well, I don't know about the warm, but the wet, like. Well, then again, I came out decently, sickness free. It struck down everybody else we know, but
Yeah, like it seemed like just about everybody who attended the Leviathan server meetup got killed with the sick.
yeah. But no, FanFest was fun. FanFest was good. I know, talking to Kira, his favorite thing was the keynote. Cass's big thing, she met some guy from Breaking Limits Radio.
She met Escalia from Limit Break Radio. I did too, and it was both very exciting for us. I know you have your opinions on them.
I do have opinions.
Phoenix Pinions?
I have Phoenix. No, Phoenix. I need to meet a guy from a Phoenix Down radio. There's a lot of people with the last name Radio who go to this thing. Like, there's a lot of radio this, radio that. Not a lot of casting anymore. We're the old guard.
Yeah. Damn millennials and their radio.
I know, right? Ignore that I own AwesomeInternetRadio.com, but which I think just redirects the OSMcast. So, Kevin, what are you looking forward to in Stormblood? Do you even remember? Do you even know what's going on?
I haven't watched the trailer.
You haven't watched it, Kevin. What have you been doing with your life?
I don't know. Watching internet series about lesbian vampires.
That sounds pretty Kevin.
It ended. It was awesome. But they're going to get a movie. I've already bought it, even though it's not come out until sometime next year.
All right, fine, whatever. I'll wait with you, but stay there. All right, Doug, what do you want out of Stormblood?
Well, I obviously want more housing items because I always want more housing items.
Right.
I want Red Mage.
Mm-hmm.
I want Red Mage.
Mm-hmm.
I would really actually like a new class. Funnily enough, I'm actually in favor of adding the Vera or the Bunny Girl race, because while I like being a Makode, I'm getting a little bit. I would like to have an alternative that has cute ears naturally and a tail, but isn't necessarily like full on furry.
Makes sense.
So that's kind of what I would like. I would probably also be happy with something like really out there, like the Gunga or something.
Mm-hmm.
But just another playable race.
Yeah.
It made so much money for Square Enix last time. I have a hard time understanding why they wouldn't, but at the same time, it does cost resources.
And that was the one thing they did not talk about, like, at all,
Yeah,
not even hinting.
They didn't mention it whatsoever.
And no question brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they had no reason to talk about it, but there's 2 more FanFests. Tokyo and Germany. Kevin, what are your opinions on Doug's thoughts?
I would totally be up for some bunny girls.
Well, but mostly I want to see the story. I want to see the liberation of Alamingo.
Spoilers, Kevin, we're going to Alamigo.
Yeah, spoiler, we're going to Alamigo. So I'd like to see the liberation of it. They did talk about how, they've been occupied for 20 years. There's an entire generation of people living in Alamigo who don't know anything but Garlean rule and might not necessarily want to be liberated.
Yeah, that goes to my secret wish for a class would be some kind of Magitech Knight. Like something like the armored Imperial badasses who've been kind of bosses when the Imperials.
A lot of
been
people are
involved.
pushing for that, actually.
Like something along those lines. Admittedly, I'm sure you won't be that awesome until you're seriously leveled up, but
As long as summoners are still the best class in Eorzea, I'll be fine with whatever Stormblood brings. Well, and based off what happened in the last patch, who knows what might happen? Kevin, who needs to play the last patch?
Yeah. Someday, sometime. I don't know. I'm on a little bit of a hiatus, like I said. I don't think I'm done with it. I'm just need a little cool down time.
Well, you need to finish it up because pretty soon we'll be knee deep in a whole other Final Fantasy.
That is true.
In a matter of almost less than a month.
Yeah,
almost a month because it's the 29th.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy 15. That may or may not be good.
We can hope it's good.
But this is about Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Again. We literally just... One of our last recently released episodes is still Heavensward.
And that's why I refuse to play the game, so this will not turn into a Final Fantasy 14 podcast exclusively. Till we record a show about something not Final Fantasy.
We did. We haven't released it yet. So, this one's probably coming out first, and then we'll release things we've already recorded before this, and then we'll be back to correct timeline episodes.
Yeah, space is warped and time is malleable.
We'll see.
It's fun.
At awesomecast.com. You can email us at awesomecast@gmail.com. OSMcast.com. Or, like I said, I guess you can go to awesomeinternetradio.com, because I have that.
It might link to us.
I'm pretty sure it redirects. I think I got bored one day and just set a redirect. Yeah. I guess till next time. Kevin, be less useless.
Okay, but, when this goes up, can it be Final Fantasy FanFest featuring Twitless Kevin, like I've got the rapper guest lyric?
Maybe. Or I think I'll just leave you as a surprise.
Okay.
Maybe we'll tag it in the show notes with surprise special guest. How do you feel about that? Does that feel good?
Yeah, you're thinking you're going to get Soken or Yoshi P, but it was I, Kevin.
That's right. Kevin A. All right, folks. We'll see you next time.